Barcelona, obviously, last week with the 4 goals, we were singing their praises, saying how good they are. One of the big things, though, tactically, Grell, has been this high line. It is a high reward, but also we saw tonight, it's pretty high risk as well.
Yeah, I mean, we look at this as traditional analysts and we say this line is crazy and there's only a matter of time till it gets broken, right? And you see it there. They're 5 yards from the halfway line. Brandt runs through, and from a couple of yards, they save themselves. Now, you look at the teams who have won World Cups and Champions Leagues and in leagues and in trophies, and most of them are defensively pretty sound. And they normally, traditionally, don't play that way with this high line. But then you look at La Liga, they only concede 29 goals. Atletico Madrid, that's considered the gold standard of defending, have conceded 26. So maybe they're really good at what they're doing. They
are
do
really
risk.
good at what they're doing. They're not maybe really good.
They do risk.
They're excellent at what they're doing.
Yeah, but they conceded a lot of chances to Borussia Dortmund in over 2 legs, which is the worry that you have if you watch that. It's like a doctor looking at my uncle who smoked 2 packs of cigarettes for the last 50 years and saying, well, it's unsustainable, but he's healthy as an ox, right? This is exactly what the Barcelona high line is. You look at it and you go, well, that's worrying. And then
imagine your uncle
and then you look at the
that wouldn't be your uncle.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
your uncle's never going to stop smoking cigarettes.
Exactly.
That's your uncle. That's.
So I don't know if I'm worried. I guess long story short, I think they're really good at playing with this high line. Now, the big negative of playing with a high line is a third man running. A third man running is like when you go into the striker and it comes back, and then there's a guy who jets from the midfield, and when you time that right, is usually unstoppable. And you know who does that really well? Inter does that really well. Like, that's what they do. That's their MO. So I do think that Inter matched really well against Barcelona, because as a stagnant back line, a high one, if you get a third man running and the timing's right, it's unstoppable.
Look at the Fratesi goal, right? From against Bayern. And
perfect example.
If Bayern play a high line.
Yeah.
Right.
Same thing. I think for me, sorry, Nico, just to say, there's nothing wrong with playing a high line. What Barcelona are doing, that's their style. It's easy tactically to see how to create chances against them. That's what it is. They leave themselves so vulnerable with doing that. But for now, it's working. But there will be games where everything will go against you. There will be games when you play better teams with more clinical players, where every time they time that run perfect, they get in and they score. And they'll keep doing it because they won't change or adapt. And then you can find yourself 4-0 down.
Do you think they'll have to adapt in the next game, depending on who they play?
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will.
You don't think they will?
We asked the same question. Look, Barca had 2 peaks in the season. There was a slump, tiny slump in the middle, and they actually came back better. But in that first peak, they played against Bayern. That plays with a high line, that wants to take those risks as well. And it was like fire with fire. And they conceded a couple of chances, but they ended up scoring 4 goals on the other side,
look at the Benfica game as well.
Right, they're not
crazy. But they're now in this stage of the competition, and we admire the young players that they've got and how good the young players have been. It's a big risk. I just think that
is there a happy median, though? Like, do they have to play so high, or is it either you do or you don't?
It's tactic. That's how he's got them playing. They've got young players who are athletically gifted to get back into position and stuff. All I'm saying is there will be that game that they play someone where everything that they touch ends in the back of the net, and that high line will be kind of the reason. Because sometimes, if I was playing in midfield, I would love it. If Grella was my striker, and the manager already told us tactically, look for it in behind. All I'll have to do is get side on, get the ball from maybe the wide player, round the corner, we call it. Simple, round the corner.
You don't even have to look sometimes.
The first thing. You don't even have to look.
Can you afford to take that chance in the Champions League?
But we'll see. They're going to die by the sword. That's what we know. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's not. Yeah. Is it going to be in a 2-leg semi-final? Is it going to be in a 1-off final? What Barcelona has showed me through the year is that they're going to die on their own hill. If they die, or maybe they might not die. They might plant the flag on the top of the hill and become the champions of Europe. But you pose an interesting situation with Inter, because if they are the team that's going to go through, I would welcome that. Come at me, give me that space in behind, because they're a stubborn team to break down.
Yes. Here is that Fratesi goal, by the way, just as you boys were referencing, and how interplay with the attack.
Again, look, we say Inter, for me, again, the most interesting team to watch in world football, because they can do everything. When you talk about with the ball, without the ball, rest and comfortable, and Grella still makes the point that you want to see them kick onto another gear. You're not going to see them kick onto another gear, but these are experienced players who, if Barcelona have the ball and want to pass it on, Inter will be like, we're ready for this. We're built to be able to withstand this. And they will get their moments where they'll get that ball forward. Martinez will hold up so well with his hold-up play, and their wing-backs will go, Thuram will go, they will cause problem for this Barcelona side. So it would be a great game that will be set up perfectly and be very interesting tactically. And with that, I would favour the experience of Inter.
I mean, nobody wants to play with. Nobody starts coaching and says, "Oh, we're going to play with a high line," and for no reason. Then there's benefits to high line that we're not talking about at the moment. But the benefits are that you have most of your players higher up the pitch in the opponent's end, and you win a ball, and now you're much closer to the goal than when you sit into a lower shell. Like when you win the ball 60 yards from goal is much different than when you win the ball 20 yards from goal, and you can go quick into 2 passes or 3 passes, and so. It allows them to also, like Nico says, be who they are, and it allows them to be dangerous on the other end. Like, for instance, when they beat Benfica 5-4, right? So there's pros and cons to playing this way, and they happen to be very good at it.
It helps you stay compact between the lines, from the back 4 to the midfield to the fly line, so there's no big gaps. But
because you're only in one half of the field.
Yeah, so.
Do you think, Nico, obviously there's a couple of teams that are in contention for the treble. Barcelona could do the quadruple.
Okay, yeah, Supercopa as well.
Yeah, obviously with that. For Barcelona, what do you think is the most realistic trophy? Because now they've got a bit of a cushion in La Liga, haven't they?
Yeah, it's 4 points, but they still need to play Real Madrid one more time, and then just say they lose that game, it's 1 point, and they haven't been infallible throughout these weeks. So I wouldn't just throw out La Liga. They're going to win La Liga like that. It's going to be a little bit of a marathon for them again. So will it for Madrid as well. I do see them walking away, though, and I see the larger sample size with more than one trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Which
but this is the I don't.
Which ones?
Champions League, maybe.
Okay, what's the other one?
And La Liga,
Okay.
but actually, or maybe even Copa del Rey. I don't know. One of the two. One of the domestic, and Champions League. As of now, they're my favorite to win Champions League. But you can't burn out. This is the part where your medal is tested, the part of the season where your medal is tested. And you got to balance everything. Like Inter. Inter's also playing on 3 fronts. And this is when history is made and you can't burn out. Your depth is going to be tested. Your superstars need to appear at the right time. Nothing is done right now. I don't want to give anybody their flowers yet. I don't want to crown anybody.
But you've all got different picks, though,
15th.
because you like PSG, right, Nigel? You were saying you like PSG to win the tournament.
Yeah, I think PSG.
And you've got Barcelona, and Grell thinks Arsenal. So pretty.
I like Arsenal.
Yeah.
I like a lot of people.
Okay.
Not in that way.
Really impressive goal scoring ability from Guirassy.
And there were so many questions at the beginning of the season whether Guirassy's season with Stuttgart was a flop. And he's proven that it was. Excuse me, not a flop. Fluke is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nigel. For once, you corrected me with the words. And Guirassy, the next season, he followed it up with a sensational performance. It was incredible because at Dortmund there were higher expectations. He needed to do it at a bigger stage, and I mean, he's exiting the quarterfinals of the Champions League as the top goal scorer. We don't know if it'll end like that. Probably not, but. All you can do is give him a round of applause because it's been sensational.
Are you taking that? Are you taking that?
Don't worry, I'll give him his Mike Tyson moment off there.
Grell, have you brought your wooden spoon with you today to mix everything, to stir the pot?
No, I haven't. I never do. I'm peacemaker. I am peacemaker.
He's having a fantastic season for Dortmund, Guirassy. I think he's got every characteristics you want in a modern-day striker, old school number 9, physical presence, hold up the ball, great technical ability. I mean, this is just pure confidence at its best there. Game of this magnitude against Barcelona, just movement. He really is what you call a goal scorer. And on a personal level, he's having a great individual season for Dortmund. Can't say the same for a lot of his teammates and domestically what's expected for them. I would say as well, it was De Clasica this weekend, and I saw Adeyemi and a few players come on later on, so we knew already they had one eye on the second round of the Champions League, as much as Bayern Munich do the same thing for Inter Milan. And you just think to yourself, with Borussia Dortmund, why they never played like this in the first leg? Because the tactics would have been the same and should have been the same approach against Barcelona, with how they like to go out and play the game of football. You just felt they just played too much within themselves in that first leg and made it harder for themselves at home.
It's the same thing that we've seen from Dortmund time and time again, though, isn't it? They have these brilliant performances and then they follow them up with some that are so shocking in some ways, which is probably why they sit where they are in the Bundesliga. But for him personally, Grella, do you think Guirassy will be moving on to a bigger club with numbers like that after this season in the Champions League?
It's an interesting question. We'll see what ends up happening. Borussia Dortmund has everything. I mean, you're talking about a team that went to the final last season. You're talking about a team that's normally in the top 4 in Germany, or is very possible in the top 4 in Germany. So when you say big club, I think Borussia Dortmund is a big club. Now, if another club comes along that's obviously in a better position, we'll see what happens at the end of it. But I felt that Borussia Dortmund created so many chances over 2 legs, and the attacking third, when they have the ball, fluidity in the way that they play football, really good balance in the way that they attack in different types of pieces. I mean, the first 6 minutes of this game was played in the 6-yard box of Barcelona, and then the first leg as well was very similar game, in where they had so many opportunities, and they obviously didn't put them away. And then when you talk about over 180 minutes with a team like Barcelona, they understand that they play with a high line. They understand that they risk. They understand that the other team's going to get chances. But they like their chances in over 2 legs to play that way against you. Today, they were not at their best, but also it's human nature. You know, you have a 4-0 lead going into it away from home. It's kind of like, oh, can't be asked, you know.